mark. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shattered Temple. Currently, this is the third game in this best of 5 series. I bring you the one and only
Millennium Stephano.
He's in the pink trunks and he is playing Zerg to the east of this particular map versus his opponent. Who the hell does not know who this guy is? Good lord. Famous in his own right, the mighty Protoss.
TT Esports Whitera.
Oh yes, oh yes. Whitera is currently 2-0 up in this best of 5 series. Stephano evidently not able to deal with the might of Whitera at the moment. The first game going down to an early 4-gateway pressure attack. The second game significantly longer on the Terminus Re. Roach Hydralisk being put into play against Whitera, it was not good enough. And Whitera deliberately limiting the number of Colossus on the field to ensure that those 7 Corruptors were actually wasted supply. Very smart, very smart. And of course, denying expansions left, right, and center. A proxy Zealot warp in at the top of the map did easily deny that 5th base 4th expansion for Stephano. Stephano being starved out economically. Now, what could Stephano really do to deal with it this time? Opening up the same way as he has up to this point. Spawning pool. And after that, of course, he will go for the extractor and then the expansion. Whitera looking really, really strong at the moment, honestly. Very good indeed. The question is, what will Whitera do to end this? He hasn't built anything yet, so I have to wonder. Are we looking for an early expansion? It looks like we are. Forge Fast Expand once again for Whitera. Going for a little bit of a longer game. Bit defensive. We'll see if Stephano's able to deal with it this time. He was almost able to cancel an upgrade last time, which would have been really, really great. Unfortunately, he didn't quite have the firepower he needed. Whitera responded a little bit too quickly. See what he's able to do this time. Might get a little bit more aggressive early on. The question is, will he be able to do any real damage? This Forge Fast Expand with the cannons is really difficult to deal with. You need a lot of pressure. An early 7 Roach attack may not be enough. We'll certainly find out shortly, folks. No doubt about that. Stephano managing to get his expansion down much earlier than last time. Whitera unable to deny it. That might put Stephano in a better position in terms of his comfort zone and, of course, in terms of his economy later on. Also note that nice positioning right there with the extractor and the spawning pool, making it a little bit more difficult to get into this mineral line with any kind of early harassment techniques. At the moment, it doesn't look like we're seeing that from Whitera at all. He's opening up the same way. He's got the photon cannon down. Single gateway coming up. Now, the question is, has this actually been scouted? We're looking for a flank right here with this Overlord. It will spot an expansion. It will not spot the expansion timing necessarily, however. By the time he gets down there, that expansion will be up. Or, yeah, it will be, certainly. Turns around. Overlord's a little bit slow, unfortunately. I like to call them slow Overlords. They're not the most well-evolved of scouts, let me put it that way. I think if the Zerg were looking to build scouts, they probably did it wrong. It's like saying, well, how are we going to scout this war zone? Well, I suppose we could use a hot air balloon. That would do the job. That's the equivalent. That is the equivalent. Rolling in right now and keeping an eye on things. Stephano knows about this fast expansion right now. Cybernetic Score and Pylon, that's quite the wall-off right here. Look at that. That's going to be very, very difficult to break. More to the point, how will Stephano actually respond to it? Economically, he should be going quite nice, as you can see right there. We'll have a look at his army composition. You see worker count 33 to 31, but that's because of the Queen. 28 drones to 30 probes. Doesn't even bother to slide in that Overlord. Of course, he knows what's behind that anyway. It's the same build as he went with last time, so how will he deal with it this time? No sign of roaches as of yet. Nothing for Stephano right now. He's only sitting on 1 gas. Evolution Chamber coming down, so it could still be a roach play, certainly, with only 1 gas. In fact, it's fairly likely to be just that. Either that or heavy into Zerglings. Another gateway coming up for Whitera right now, and we are looking for a quick third for Stephano, which would make sense, certainly. Whitera not particularly aggressive. Stephano wants to keep 1 base ahead of his opponent at all times. There's that level 1 attack upgrade coming up for Whitera. The question is, will he go for the early third as well? It's certainly a possibility. That Overlord will spot the expansion timing if he does. Sentry will take approximately 5 million years to make its way through that. Sentries are actually really rubbish for killing rocks, by the way, as you can see. 3 armor. You want to know how much damage they do a shot? 6. So it takes a while. Probably not quite as bad as Zerglings, honestly, but they're pretty bad. Roaches and the lair coming up right here. Are we going for the same strat for Stephano? Will it work the second time? We are looking for +1 missile upgrade, so it is likely, unless he's willing to mix it up like, say, Nurchio. Nurchio has no problems doing that kind of thing. He will happily throw in some crazy builds. He'll actually go for a Roach and Zergling, but he'll go for melee upgrade as opposed to range, because it benefits the Zerglings much more than the range upgrade benefits the Roaches, simply due to their attack speed. It's an interesting mix, and it works fairly well against certain opponents, mostly against Terran, not so much against Protoss. Sentries tend to shut it down pretty well. Leo Reconstitution coming up, so it is likely we're going to see a heavy Roach play, of course. Not seeing Hydra yet. He does have the resources to build it, though. I wonder if he's just going to go for pure Roach initially. Zergling Force won't really be able to do too much, blocked off quite nicely there by Whitera. And we're going Twilight Council this time around for Whitera, so that's a deviation of the build. Possibly looking for Blink Stalkers, Charge Zealot, and of course, the very real possibility of High Templar later on. We'll see which one of those he actually decides to go for. It's going to be primarily Roaches. I would honestly expect him to go Blink Stalker. Charge Zealot doesn't make a huge amount of sense in that scenario. But he's now going for Robotics Bay as well. He goes Twilight Council and Robotics Bay. Well, there you go. That's interesting. Looking to then take his third. As you can see, Stephano is well on his way to capturing that, and he's on the gold minerals as well. That'll certainly help supply count-wise. No question about that. Looking maybe to take a fourth as well. It'll be pretty damn rapid, and that would make sense. He is aware of what's going on right here thanks to that Overlord. He did spot that expansion timing coming in. Shouldn't have too much of a problem dealing with that. Army supply count right now is in favor of Stephano, although not by a huge amount. There we go. Does he have the Chrono Boost for that? First Colossus on its way already. Now, that force is not a critical mass yet. There's a good force actually moving in from Stephano right here. The question is, will he be able to break that line? His army count, I think he does have an advantage actually, but a warp-in is coming. The Observer spots it. Stephano willing to charge that line perhaps. Or more to the point, if he breaks through these rocks, he could menace this expansion right here. Whitera should see it coming. Actually, he might not. That pylon is a little bit too far back. The thing is, the Observer surely saw that. Or did it? Yes, it looks like it did. He's going to break his way through that. Either that or he's just going to flank his opponent completely and go for an attack. Colossus is up on the field. And now army count swinging in favor of Whitera, at least what's there right now. There are more reinforcements coming in, which will change it. Here comes the swarm right now. A quick wall-off right here from Whitera. A smart play. One Colossus is up. However, that's a good Roach count right here from Stephano. He does have +1 attack, so that's looking pretty good. Zerglings in the field as well. Of course, no real sentries to help out right now. This is a little bit of a mess coming in. The Colossus not doing a huge amount of damage. Now finally coming in for the Roaches. However, the Roaches are actually crushing Whitera's forces right now. He does have the numbers. However, an additional warp-in coming in right now. Will Stephano have the firepower? It looks like he probably will. Colossus is going down. There we go. And Whitera is going to have to desperately defend this expansion. A lot of damage coming in right here. Stephano doing a good job of ramming his way through Whitera's defenses. Pylon will go down, and this expansion is looking very likely to die right now. It's unlikely that Whitera will be able to pull the defenses off the line. Stephano streaming in more Roaches. Looking very, very nice indeed. +2 missile attack upgrade. This is a very quick upgrade strat right now for Stephano, and it's working out in his favor. That expansion is under grave threat, of course. He can't really do anything there right now. More Roaches streaming in. Stephano, smart play, moves back, able to disable that one gateway. Doesn't really want to engage right now. That's a little bit too equal. Needs to bring his reinforcements in immediately. And now we are looking for the Grooved Spine upgrade, so Hydras will follow. That's an interesting play there, delaying the Hydralisks. And that expansion, by the looks of it, may be toast. Whitera does not want to let that go. Pylon coming in right there. Here comes the Colossus coming out the back. Does he have the firepower to deal with this? It's looking very unlikely. Red help right now, and Stephano is so close. There you go. He takes it down. Here comes the firepower right now from Stephano. Will he be able to crush this? I don't think so. He did actually waste a lot of damage on that last shot. It was unnecessary, and Whitera was able to clean up, and he does have +2 weapon right now as well. Admittedly, so does Stephano. Flyer attack upgrades coming in as well right now. I have to wonder if he will dedicate too many resources to Corruptors like he did last time. More Roaches on the way. Now, Stephano was able to deny that expansion, and in the meantime, he's been able to expand behind that. His economy's looking good. 69 drones to 55 right now for Stephano. His position is much stronger than it was last time. You can see by the income count what's going on right now. A lot of gas for Stephano as well. That's a huge amount. That's 8. 8 gas coming in. A heavy upgrade strat and possibly looking for higher tech. And of course, Hydralisks do sink quite a lot of gas. is to be expected. It is a massive gas advantage, though. We'll have to see how that turns out for him. Gateway's on the way, still one robotics facility, and note just how few Colossus Whitera's building. Never going for any more than 2. The question is, will Stephano overdo it on the Corruptors again? +1 on the flyer attack will help him, no doubt. And Whitera looking for his 4th right now. Stephano's position is looking very, very solid. It's the place that I like to see Stephano in, and no doubt it's the place that Stephano likes to be in as well. He's got over half the map covered in creep. He's got good mobility and good map control. His army supply count outnumbers Whitera pretty significantly. And he has the production facilities to back that up. Whitera has bled pretty badly in terms of his economy right there. He's looking to start getting mined out his natural expansion. Stephano rolling forward. Lot of forces on the field for him. 78 to 60 army supply count. The question is, will he be able to get a good concave off right there? He takes down 1 Colossus, he takes 2. Now he's looking for the big damage, and the sentries don't really do a huge amount. Does he have what he needs to break this? He did take a lot of firepower coming in right now. Stephano splitting his fire up right now. That might not be advisable. He was actually attacking the pylon right there, and of course those Corruptors don't really help all that much. Stephano doing good damage to Whitera, but Whitera will clean it up once again. I think it's really the amount of damage that Whitera is able to do before Stephano gets in range, and that's the real problem with having those limited... Oh, come on, pick the Colossus off. There he goes. And Stephano is actually breaking this, I say, as he flees. The warp-in will ensure that doesn't actually happen. Looks to take down the pylon. Can he do it? He's going to take a lot of damage in doing so. A lot of firepower coming in right now. Does he have reinforcements? He actually does. Streaming across the battlefield. More roaches coming in piecemeal. But he should have the firepower to break this defense right now. Whitera, GG, ladies and gentlemen. Stephano is back in it. 2-1 in this best-of-5 series. Oh, yes. And now the series gets fired up, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.